Hey there, soccer fans and Premier League fans. After an entertaining week in the Champions League, it's time to turn our attention back to the Premier League match week number 17. Matt and I were here to break it down. How's it going there, Matt?
It's going, man. I went to Vegas last week to see the Pacers get beat by the Lakers and feeling a little under the weather post Vegas, but it was a good time and yeah, ready to break these matches down with you as always.
As you should be. It sounds like from your voice you did Vegas right. So good job. Matt, I wanted to just say
Thanks.
something here off the top of the show, before we dive on into these games. If you look at last six form and last 10 form, every team in the Premier League has cashed in over 2.5 at least 50%, whether it's last six or last 10 form. So a little bit of an overs league. Still can find your under spots. We hit Wolves Forest last week, but you're seeing goals across this league.
Yeah, you don't want to be really with unders right now. Just with the amount of extra time, VAR, all of that stuff. Yeah, it's definitely an overs league. You look at it. I mean, pretty much everything this weekend is priced up 2.5 juice to the over. I mean, so there's not really a lot of under spots as of right now. I mean, isn't it like minus 200 for an over 2.5 between Bournemouth and Luton, which is
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's good for us, good for our entertainment on Saturday and Sunday mornings. We like that, but obviously it makes it a little bit harder to find some prices. Let's dive into it. We don't have to wait till Saturday this week. We get some Friday afternoon action going to Forest, where they're welcoming Tottenham into town. If you want to go ahead and look at last six form, there's five teams in their last six games who have only gotten 4 points in the total of those six games. One of them is Forest, and one of them is Spurs. So we obviously have two teams that's scuffling. Maybe the thing that can give you an encouragement is Spurs are coming off a win, where Forest, you got to go all the way back to 6 games ago, which is when they've got their only win in this last six stretch. So definitely going in opposite directions. Maybe Ange is kind of got to turn the corner here a little bit and re-pick it back up. That's certainly the only team I can trust. Forest has been abysmal home and away here lately, so I'm going to trust that maybe Ange has gotten things back, on track, and that I'm willing to back them maybe in a parlay of maybe like a team total over 1.5. I just can't rely on Forest. Can you rely on Forest?
I mean, I think that Forest can score here at home. Um, I think that Spurs defense still is, really susceptible. You look at, um, who the types of teams that they've lost to are definitely, they're definitely stronger than this Forest side. But yeah, I think this is a pretty tough match to bet. But I do think if I were to bet it, it would be both teams to score yes in like that minus 150 range as maybe a first leg of a parlay. Because I just don't trust Tottenham fully yet. I think that they probably get the job done here. Um, did you see anything? Is Son's not injured, but I guess he's going to be leaving for. There's going to be some Asian Cup soon
Mm-hmm.
that he'll be leaving for. So yeah, they need to keep stringing in some wins here for top four. Tough match though. Both teams. I mean, I wish that Forest were fully healthy. I would bet them here if they were.
Yeah, they don't have that striker, the big tall guy, the big number nine guy. He's actually a big physicality in the box. I wonder if they can score, because if they didn't score last season at home against Tottenham, and that's when they played a back three system last year, and two of their back three was Dyer and Sanchez. Those are not like Premier League caliber center halves at all, and they didn't score against two of those, both of those guys last season. Obviously, they don't have
Yeah.
their big number nine, all their physicality that they get in the box. I only really want to back Spurs from a team total. I'm not quite willing to go to 2.5. I think I want us to get to 1.5 and drop it in a parlay at minus 150
For which one? What was it?
for the Spurs to get two or more.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, probably just not a match I'm going to be betting.
I wonder what Spurs has actually what their to score in both halves, because where they're on the road, they're the team in the Premier League that has scored the most in both halves when they're on the road. So they're getting goals. We know how they are. Let me see what they are to get a goal first in both halves. See what that could be a good, possibly pivot if you're looking. We don't know what the price is, but maybe possibly looking for a single angle and no parlay. Let me see what they are to get a goal in both halves. Score in both halves. Spurs plus 146. And no team in the league has scored more in both halves when they're on the road than Spurs. It's hitting at 50%. You can't give me that bet at plus 146 when it's hitting at 50% of the time. I may just stick to a single play and do that one, actually. Score in both halves. Give me Spurs. You know how their style. It's open. It's fun. How about I actually stick to that one? I am going to stick to that. I'll just talk myself into a bet with you, Matt. That's why we like doing the show here. The back and forth. Talk ourselves right into winners.
Plus 160.
Where's 160 at?
Wait, what? No, I'm sorry. Well, what was the price on that?
146.
Okay, 146.
I'm definitely going to price shop it here while we're talking. What you already know how I'm betting Bournemouth versus Luton. You probably know all my analysis already for Bournemouth versus Luton. So what do you've got here for Bournemouth versus Luton, Matt?
I mean, I just can't believe, a match like this, the 2.5 is all the way at minus 200, but it is kind of the way that these two teams have been playing. It's definitely on form. Luton's been incredible. It's actually, sorry, it's only minus 145. Maybe I was thinking minus 200 for Bournemouth. It's a very tricky match, I guess, just from a price perspective on how to bet it, because I want to be with Bournemouth. Bournemouth's on fire. I'm not going to lay minus 200 with Bournemouth. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if we can find some trends here to look at, but yeah, I don't know. What have you found anything for this game, Jason, at all?
Well, the one thing I was going to say is let's just focus on sides here for a second. You mentioned Bournemouth uptick in form. Obviously, going to Old Trafford, picking up their first win ever this past weekend, 3-0. I also don't want to discredit what Luton's done. Yeah, they lose to Arseanl, but, last-minute kick there by Declan Rice, or header. And, they're able to obviously come out of that game with no points. Right there against Man City, competitive first half, even get it in the halftime with a little bit of a lead. And then it was a 3-minute span. While City did have chances like they do, and they're going to obviously dominate more matches than not, I thought Luton was able to defend and hang in there well. So I'm not interested in picking a side in this one because Luton has been impressive against the upper echelon of teams in the Premier League lately. To me, it's relegation fight. This bet cashed in both fixtures last season. You know what you get in relegation fights. It's both teams are scoring over 2.5. Both teams scored over 2.5 plus 118 over at Bet Rivers. Just want to be entertained. We've played this angle a few times and been rewarded this season. I'm just going right back to the well.
Yeah, I mean, that does look good when you look at, last 4 matches in the league, Luton over 2.5 goals.
They're scoring against Arsenal, scoring against City.
Yeah, Bournemouth have been doing the same kind of thing, scoring 2+ in each of their last 5. Yeah, you're on the right track here. I like goals. I'm going to price shop this one. I might just bet an over 2.5 flat, so we'll see.
The over 2.5, it's got to be juicy. Let's see. You're talking about juicy over lines. That one's got to be
minus
145. Not terrible.
Yeah,
I think both contribute. This one I am willing to at minus instead of paying minus 140, too much for my liking. I'm going to tack on the both teams to score and think that they both contribute and give me that plus 118. Like I said, his bet's also been really good to me. So, as a side though, I mean, who do you think is going to walk away with any amount of points in this one? I just think you can't dismiss Bournemouth, form, but then while Luton's not getting results, they're getting good performances, and those will in turn into results here at some point. And doing it up against City, doing it up against Arsenal, I like them going to this fixture.
I like Bournemouth here. I think that Bournemouth might have a chance really here to squeak into like the top 10 in this league. I don't think that they're a relegation team at all. They've been playing fantastic ball. And then you look at Solanke. I mean, that's somebody that you want to be with on a goal scoring bet. I mean, he is on fire right now. The price isn't where you want it, and that's what will keep me off. I don't want just a kind of a plus 105. Like I'd love, plus 130 on a Dominic Solanke, but he's on fire right now and someone to be paying attention to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Bournemouth's not getting relegated. When we talked our preview show, I said it was the same three teams that came up are just going to go right back down. So Bournemouth does have staying power. They're having a nice form. Just go for goals in this one, boys. But yeah, maybe the edge does go to. Is it priced right where you can take it? It's minus 205. They're not minus 205 better than Luton. Not the way Luton's been playing lately. I would take Luton double chance at plus 190 for a half a unit well before I'm taking Bournemouth at 205.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't disagree with that. I don't. I'm not going to lay it minus 200 with Bournemouth.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, yeah, that's what you get though when you come out of Old Trafford, I guess, with a whooping.
Yeah.
You get minus 205. All right, let's take it over here now to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea taking on Sheffield United. That was a great cash for me last week at plus money. Was able to predict the Sheffield manager bounce. It was so predictable with kind of how their fixture unfolded with at the time point of when Chris Wilder stepped in. It was so easy to predict that last week they were going to get some amount of result. And that plus money, that was a good cash for us. Can they take it now to Stamford Bridge where they're struggling? But I think you're going to see a gulf in class here in terms of one team's getting relegated, one team's, while they may be mid-table, they're still creating. Their XG numbers are still looking pretty good. Their XG numbers at home, how we've talked about how they don't have XG allowed at home, is really good. So I kind of want to just back Chelsea. It's minus 425, so even that's significantly juicy for a parlay. It's just finding an angle into this matchup, and perhaps I'm thinking this is one where they can keep a clean sheet up against Sheffield. What about for you?
Yeah, this match, it's Sheffield for me or pass. I don't want to be with Chelsea. I'm shocked at this price. Minus 425, minus 450 range. Um, this would be one where I think that Sheffield go into the match, and I think that they look to try to dig out a result as best they can. I think this game probably it goes under. You can find under 3 goals, but that's just, then you're kind of looking at push territory, which I don't love. But if I had to bet this one, it'd be under 3, and I'd be looking towards Sheffield on a handicap, maybe plus 1.5 at plus 110 or plus 1 3/4 at minus 110. I think that Sheffield can dig their heels in and at least keep it close for a long time, and they probably lose this match like 1-2-0.
One or two now. Think Jeff. Okay, so you're thinking maybe you can get a little bit more continuation here from the manager bounce. You're
Yeah,
liking it.
I would squeeze a little bit more of that managerial bounce maybe from last week.
Interesting. Yeah, Chelsea with the fourth best record in terms of XG allowed. I think it's going to be tough sledding here for Sheffield on the road at Stamford Bridge. And I still think they create enough quality. I mean, at 1.53 per game from an XG created standpoint, I think they're creating enough where this would be one where Pochettino absolutely, goddamn, does he need a result really bad. So get a good opponent here, but you like it close. I could see the under 2.5. The under 3.5 is minus 165, Matt. So you could go to 3.5 in a parlay.
I think that that's worthy of a parlay. I don't see 4 goals here. I Sheffield will struggle to score. I mean, I think 2-1 keeps you protected. I don't mind that play.
Mm-hmm. He's got Francisco loves Chelsea. They're unpredictable. Both teams will score. It's the only thing that maybe I would get into. Oh, for the Forest game. Okay. I think Matt kind of agrees with you. He likes Forest to pick up a little bit of a goal there at home. All right, let's keep it over now. Back to the Etihad where you go. Manchester City's taking on Crystal Palace, where obviously they rotate midweek there in the Champions League, but are still able to get a result even with the youngsters. Youngsters finding the back of the net. Now we'll be back to the big boys here in the Premier League, looking to continue coming off last week's win up against Luton. This Palace has actually played them a little bit tough. I know they were helped out to a red card last term, if I'm recalling correctly, but Palace is pesky Palace. I mean, how many times we've said pesky Palace? So I'm not going to take it under in a City match. They're going to create too much my liking. This one to me has City win to nil written all over it. I don't see how Palace can threaten City's goal. People are threatening their goal, but Stones is back in there. Rodri's back in there. And I think with Stones coming back in there, him shifting in there, Palace just doesn't do enough for my liking. I like the win to nil here.
Yeah, I don't. Again, this is it's a pretty tough start to the card. I don't love these first few matches that we talked about. I mean, this is another tough one. I mean, minus 600, Man City are not in form at all. I think that I think that City can win this to nil, but I also think that Palace can cover like a handicap. So it's like I'm right in between here, and I don't think that Holland's going to play. Right? Isn't Holland kind of injured?
Yeah,
I mean, Julian,
yeah, Guardiola's
yeah,
press conference is saying he's going to be ready for Saudi Arabia. So that's kind of his thinking in terms of when he will be available next. So
do they play there soon?
yeah, they got that Club World Cup competition that they're obviously involved in.
Yeah, he's not on this injury report, which is interesting. But let's see,
I mean, he
in
was going to
Aston.
return to training, but I think if you do like the read between the lines, so to speak, when you're listening to a press conference, he's going to play. But it sounded like he was out till Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, yeah, he probably doesn't go here. I mean, then you can always look at Alvarez.
Mm-hmm.
Alvarez will lead the line. He's not a bad look. No, I got nothing on this game though. It's just right in between. I can see Palace being a little pesky here, and then I can also see them not scoring. So I don't really want to be with a team that's very likely to be held scoreless or whatever. So
Yeah, and I don't think you're getting a good enough price for the Man City, win to nil because they have been conceding. I mean, maybe don't give up a lot of XG. And Guardiola even said like the chances we give up aren't that great. And he mentioned the Lo Celso one. I mean, even a left-footed dude come across his box. That's like a beautiful, like angle for a left footer. So maybe not XG stats that high, but every left footer in the world wants to cut in on his left and rip a shot. So that was, I mean, you basically gave him exactly what he wanted in that moment. So um, sometimes little stats can be a little bit misleading there. So yeah, City will get the 3 points though, no doubt about that. They're gonna pick up points. What did you say they were on the money line? They're not worthy of a parlay piece. Too big.
no, minus 550.
-550, and with them conceding. And while I kind of like them to keep the clean sheet because Palace has been so poor, can they win on a margin? I don't know. Not if they gave up a goal and with no Holland. Now you're really in danger of them covering a margin.
Yeah, I'm concerned about them. Like I don't know. I wouldn't want to be with City in any way, shape, or form this weekend.
All right. And they're not. Yeah, yeah. The first half angle just cools off too much for them without Holland. So all right, let's move over now to Newcastle. Take it on Fulham. Fulham 2 straight 5-0 victories here in the Premier League. Newcastle eliminated from all of European competition yesterday. Eddie House talking in his press conference yesterday about how the squad is just it's kind of at the end of the rope. I mean, just playing so much. You can only rotate but so much these days with all the injuries. This is a spot where you like a both teams to score, I think, in this matchup. Even though it's at St. James's Park, and we like to back Newcastle in this spot with Fulham on their nice uptick of 10 goals in 2 games. I just kind of like the both teams to score angle. I think they both do find the back of the net, and I think that's a great parlay piece, and you can get it currently right now. I mean, at about shit, I had the price right in front of me.
Minus 160, minus 150,
Yeah,
maybe a
yeah.
little better.
So not bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with it. I like Fulham here a little bit on the double chance. I mean, they're on fire. Newcastle midweek match. Fulham are in a great spot here, and let's not forget what Fulham did against Liverpool just a few matches ago. Pushed them all the way to the brink on the road. Give me Fulham double chance here, and I do like your both teams to score in a parlay.
There's certainly no separation from these clubs. In the last 6 games, both of them have picked up 9 points, averaging 1.5 per games. Both of them with 3 wins in those six, both of them with 3 losses in those six. So you look at it, it's like, yeah, this feels pretty even. Let's do a little bit of a digger dive here on Fulham's away form because I know they got West Ham. That one win against West Ham was 5-0. That one was at Craven Cottage. Who did they thump before that? Yeah, and Forest
They,
was also at home. So
yep.
let's get a peek at this away form. Maybe the Fulham on the DC is where it's at. Hung with Liverpool to your point, but lost. Didn't really do much against Villa. But now you're starting to get
Uh,
so far back where it's like their form was also not as great, in terms of those
yeah,
when those away matches occurred. So um,
I think
one,
both teams to score is a slammer in this game. I
yeah,
think that is it's a beautiful bet.
yep. That's the one that I'm going to be looking to drop in a parlay. It's like you said, it's about minus 150 ish. Um, I've got a couple bets queued up that I'm ready to drop in a parlay. So glad that you
Is
like
that
that
what
one
you're
as
gonna
well.
make? Is that what you're going to make your between the post parlay leg?
Seen, yeah, actually, I forgot about that. I forgot about that because we didn't do it last week for some reason. So, yeah, possibly when we get to the end of these 10 games, I'll circle back and do that one. All right, what about Burnley? They're taking on Everton this weekend here at the Turf Moor. Obviously, Sean Dice coming back to familiar grounds here Saturday afternoon. You gotta obviously love what Everton's been doing lately, just cranking out some solid results, getting some grinders, even against good clubs as well. Um, I'm looking at this one though. Everton is keeping first halves low scoring and second halves are becoming high scoring. Their last 8 goals have all been scored in the second half. It's kind of the Sean Dice of just keep it close and let us be in it there in the second half, and then we'll kind of expand it and get it a little bit more aggressive in the second half, and get the results that have gotten us 3 straight wins and 4 out of the last 5. I think though this one with Burnley, I think is another spot I like both teams to score. And you can get it at minus 120. I like both teams to score here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love it because I just don't like being with Burnley at all. Really, I mean, they kind of suck, and yeah, you kind of mentioned it. 5 most recent away matches in the Prem, draws at halftime in all of them. I think another good parlay piece here would be Everton draw no bet, minus 190 on that. I mean, look at what they're kind of form that they're in. Dyche coming back home, undefeated in 7 of 8. Are they really going to lose to Burnley here? I would be surprised. Give me Burnley draw no bet in a parlay. That's what I like here. And then we're going to it might just be like a 2-team parlay week because I don't love a lot of the singles.
Yeah. You said Burnley, but obviously everybody knows you meant Everton on the draw
Oh, yeah,
no bet. Everton. It
Everton.
looks like that's even like minus 180, so not terrible.
I know. I thought it was going to be worse.
What is that? That puts their double chance around what, like 300 and some?
Yeah.
Yeah, 340. Not terrible. Not terrible.
It's workable. It's workable.
I mean, you can parlay that with your both teams to score in Newcastle, Fulham, and you can get it at plus 117 over on Bet Rivers.
I like that one.
Everton double chance, Fulham, Newcastle, both teams to score parlay. I think that's got a lot of strength to it. A lot of strength to it. Francisco likes Fulham over 3.5 shots on target. Yeah, I hit Red Star over 2.5 shots on target. I like that angle from time to time. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right, we got a couple more games here to pick up. Where you've got Arsenal Brighton. Arsenal Brighton. I remember this fixture from last season. I remember being at the Kids Museum here in Chicago when we used to play that NBC Sports Predictor app. Matt, there was a guy in our group. This was the last game of the 6th that day, and he needed a 3-2 result, if I recall correctly, to win the $50,000. And Brighton gets some late goal to make it 3-3. An absolute heartbreaker for that guy. He was within minutes of winning 50 grand. I remember that day and actually going back and forth with him as he was, as was leading up to that. This one feels like it, but I like Arsenal here. Rotation was heavy. Actually, was good and heavy yesterday there in the Champions League, or 2 days. Has the lineup? I'm curious what time. Has the Brighton lineup come out, or is that much lighter? Okay, so you don't get to know what Brighton is quite going to do, but I think Brighton's going to take today's game serious today because they want to get a win, because then you get a bye in the first round of the knockout stages, and you get to avoid whoever's coming down from the Champions League. So I bet Brighton's going to have a pretty strong lineup here today against Marseille. I like Arsenal, rested midweek. They're going to be ready to go at home. We know their goal defense. I would pick them to get the 3 points.
Yeah, you're right. This is a big game for Brighton today. That's definitely one to pay attention to on the lineups, and yeah, I think that Arsenal are in a great way here. But I also think, I mean, look at Brighton have scored in 20 straight Premier League matches. So how do you find the value? The value here is Arsenal to win and Brighton and both teams to score at plus 180. I mean, there's 20 straight both teams to score yeses in the Premier League for Brighton. both teams to score here is about minus 150. I thought it should be like minus 200. So I'll be on Arsenal and both teams to score here at plus 180. I'm just going to combine the trend of Brighton, both teams to scores. And I think that Brighton are in trouble here, though, from a full 90 minutes perspective. And they probably get crushed here. I think this is like a 3-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, they do have a lot of good attack. I see what you're saying. So for them to score, um, I do see that. Let's see what that price is here. Got me curious.
I think it's plus 185.
I think the game today is in France, isn't it? In their Europa League game. If it's a home game, I really love it because then there's no traveling. But I thought it was in France. Maybe I'm wrong. Look. Oh, it's at Brighton. It's at the Amex. Oh, man. Arsenal. Money line. And both teams to score. What is that angle? Plus 173, Matt.
Yeah, pretty good. What do we have on a price for Brighton today?
Did De Zerbi score in both of those fixtures last year? Did they bag a goal in both of them? I remember them. Obviously, I remember remembering whichever of those two.
They
Pretty fun.
actually they kept a clean sheet against Arsenal in one of them.
Okay, it
They
was a
won. They
4-2
beat.
game. Oh, maybe he had a 3-2 result, and Arsenal got the late goal. Whatever, however it went, it was gut wrenching.
Hard not to like both teams to score and over 2.5 today in Marseille Brighton.
Yeah, I'm on the over 2.5. I dropped that leg into a parlay of just an over 2.5. I did it with West Ham double chance. West Ham at home against Freiburg.
Love it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty strong.
Plus 109 is where that parlay came in. All right, what about Brentford taking on Aston Villa? Brentford's the team that I was able to fade last week up against Sheffield. That was an easy one right there. I expect Villa to have a decent amount of rotation today when their lineup did come out and I looked at it. They did rotate fairly good. They kept in some Luis. They kept in a couple other defenders and Pau Torres and what have you. But they're going to be too much for Brentford to overpower. They're rotating good on Thursday nights. I like what they're doing. I'm not scared of Brentford. I don't really care that they're at home. This feels like maybe the repeat of your bet of Arsenal and both teams to score. Give me a Villa and a both teams to score parlay.
Yeah, this is actually it's a pretty strong Villa side here.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It is rotated, but it's strong. They've got a lot. I mean, Douglas Luiz, Diaby. Their back four with Cash, Konsa, Torres. I mean, it's really strong. What do we have on a price right now for Aston Villa to win? Probably minus money, I would imagine.
Yeah, even though they're on the road, I would imagine. Yeah, and Villa's last
minus 240. Minus 240.
minus 240.
Damn.
I really like the Villa and the both teams to score because they're third best in the league in the last 6 form, getting up 2.6 points per game. But in their matches, both teams to score is hitting 60%, so I really like that. And Brentford at home, I think, is good for a goal. So I kind of like the Villa money line and both teams to score.
Yeah, I think that Villa are in a good way here for this match. I think that anytime you're looking at Brentford right now and having their key absentee, it's always it's going to be a problem. I mean, Embuemo is so important to them, and he's out. I mean, he's out for. I mean, they're still waiting on a scan. It sounds like, but it's a problem for them. I mean, he's kind of everything up top that they like to do and play on the counter attack. So. I like Villa here. I like Villa plus 120 on the money line. I like Villa team total, probably a little bit more. But yeah, give me Villa here in a road match that I think that Brentford I think that they're in trouble with some of their injuries.
Yeah, they did a terrible job this summer not replacing Tony. I don't know what the hell they did. They just kind of stood pat,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah, they're a little thin up top.
Yeah, they're thin. Actually, Brighton on the money lines at plus money, so the hell with tacking on both teams to score. Never mind. I thought they were going to be a little bit bigger of a favorites than that, but they've got them at plus money. They're favored, but not as heavily favored as I thought. That Villa will go in there and get
Where?
the 3 points. I got them at plus
Okay.
112, just on the money line. Plus 120, hell on DraftKings, a better price on DraftKings.
Yeah, for Villa money line, that's what I'm looking at. Plus 120.
Yeah, that's much. I don't see them not being able to pick up the points against Brentford. I'm sure they what they do last term against them. They got a 1-1 draw and a 4-0 win. Not bad.
We struggled weirdly against Brentford, but that's just stuff that is like I think it's past its course. They've only won one of their last 10 against Brentford.
All right, two more matches here. West Ham taking on Wolves. West Ham is at home taking on Wolves, a Wolves team in which we were able to cash the under 2.5. If there's an under 2.5 team, I think it's Everton. And I think it's also this Wolves team is the ultimate under 2.5. If you look at what West Ham did, obviously getting thumped by Fulham, they were awfully lucky against Tottenham. Yeah, they get the 2-1 win. That's one of those ones where if you just look at the box score, you're going to be completely misleaded. Awful mistakes there by Tottenham in the second half gifted West Ham the victory, and they weren't good enough in the first half. I think this is an under 2.5. We talked about on the top of the show, maybe 50% of every team is hitting the over. Not in this one. This one's going right back to the under. I played the under last week in Wolves. Remember how we talked about all those both teams of scores in Wolves match, and we talked about how last week I thought that trend was going to continue. That's why I did the under 2.5. I think you're seeing that flip in trend with the Wolves now, and I'm going to be on the under in this one.
Okay. Well, I hope it goes under 2.5 and it goes 1-1 because I'm on both teams to score here. Last 7 straight in Wolves away matches, BTTS, yes. West Ham can generally count on them to score. Um, I said it last week. I thought that West Ham could win that match against Spurs, and they gutted it out. They grinded it out in the second half. I loved what they did. And I think both teams to score yes is the bet here.
I mean, you already saw that goals though. There's some sloppy mistakes there by them, but
Yeah.
their defense. That was a weird game because Tottenham just wasn't direct in their attacking. There was so much possession around the 18, like they were trying to hit the perfect pass rather than just be direct and go at it. I was really frustrated watching that matchup and watching Tottenham. Nobody wanting to take a dribble and nobody wanting to attack somebody. Really annoying game to watch. I'm getting the best price here on this one. Oh yeah, basically giving it to me at plus money. Sign me up. All right, then the last game we even had a comment here from Francisco. He said you look like a Chelsea guy. Tell him what you are, man. As we go into Anfield here for the last game.
Exactly. It's Liverpool always. But yeah, the baby blue sweatshirt, yeah, probably makes
Oh,
you
maybe
think
that's what it
otherwise.
was. That tipped them off on it. Matt, I'm going to share a graphic with you because I told you earlier that I was going to be on Liverpool in some capacity, and not that you questioned that by any stretch. But let me show up a graphic here and show you one of the many reasons, and we'll break it down on why. Here's United in the league under Ten Hag away. That looks freaking abysmal to me, Matt. I don't see where there's one good result. I mean, I guess a 2-2 draw on the road's not bad. There's a lot of thumpings in there, and including one at Anfield last year back in March. They got thumped 7-0. Look, United's awful. Awful. They didn't turn up against Byron. It looked like they allowed Byron to be so comfortable in possession. They didn't want to get up in their face and really challenge them. They were just kind of hoping that throughout at the end of their possession it would end in a goal kick because they weren't doing anything to get Byron to turn the ball over. They were letting them have as much possession as they want and not really pressing them, which is shocking that they do that in the ultimate must-win spot. Yeah, you need help from Copenhagen and Galatasaray, but they didn't do anything to put it in their own hands. Way too passive in that game. And then you look at this, obviously Ten Hag, this to me shows that I don't mind Ten Hag's tactics, but it clearly shows that when you get up in the upper echelon of managers in the Premier League, he's not on that level. You don't get any good results in your your 1.5 tenure at Man United. You should have something. He's got nothing to put his hat on so far this year. Liverpool rotated heavily today in Europa League. They damn near sat anybody that you would hope that they would sit. Klopp's going to want to stick it to them and keep the misery on United. I like them in any which way you want to carve them up this weekend.
Yeah, this price is really tough. It's tough to. I still think that United will show some amount of steel, and yeah, let's go, Taylor and Francesco. I mean that really hurt to even say that I look like a Chelsea fan. I hate Chelsea more than anything. They're my least favorite team in the Premier League. So that really sucked and that hurt. But we'll move on. This one is really tough because you can't bet Liverpool minus 320. I don't really think that you could bet Liverpool on a handicap. I think that that's tough. Um, I mean, dude, you can get Man United at plus 100 at plus 1.5, and it's like, oh, like I kind of like that, sadly, because I think this game will be closer than what the odds suggest. It's a derby. I don't think this is another 7-0 drubbing. I think that United have the counter-attacking pieces to still cause Liverpool some issues. Basically, you put it all together, and really, I've got nothing on this game. This is a no bet for me, which sucks because I want to bet it, but I think that Liverpool can win. I think they will end up finding a way to win this match because they're so good at Anfield. But this match just it's really tough to bet. I'm trying to find something right now. I'm looking 2 score, 2 assists. Salah's minus 210. No thanks. Maybe Szoboszlai plus 145 on a 2 score or 2 assist market. He's going to play the full 90 minutes. He's going to whip crosses into the penalty area and hope that Darwin and Salah and Diaz and those guys get on it. And he also can score himself. I think that's what I'll give out as a lean. Dominic Szoboszlai to score or assist in this match at plus 145.
Wow, Matt, I'm a Liverpool fan this Sunday because that's where my money will be. Not by heart. My heart, I'll be a United fan, but my money. I mean, no Luke Shaw. He won't be in this game, so United don't have a fullback that you really trust going forward to add in any offensive prowess. Scott McTominay, every time he goes up against big side, they just abuse him in the midfield. Absolutely abuse him. So he'll be in there next to Amrabat probably. And then Johnny Evans is going to come in the side for Harry Maguire because he got picked up there in the Champions League with an injury. And Johnny Evans, I mean, he's sitting on his couch in the summer looking for a club. This is not the caliber player that's a Champions League caliber player, and he's certainly not a caliber player, to hang with, Liverpool. I don't see how they don't get carved up left and right in this game, and love what Jurgen Klopp did today in the Europa League. I'm on the does Liverpool win by the margin, or do I just take it on the team total of over 2.5 at basically even money is where I'm at.
I would go team total if I had, team total probably would be better.
Matt, you're giving me hope. You're giving me hope that maybe we don't get embarrassed, but I think we're going to get embarrassed again. I mean, this is not by accident, right? This is you're not as good as other managers. This is not by accident. Whether it's motivation or whether it's tactics, you can say whatever you want. Like, oh, this is a derby. He'll turn up. 7-0 last March. They didn't turn up or shit. They got embarrassed. They're getting embarrassed every time they go on the road in the league. Nobody's scared of United.
I know. This one's, I can't wait to watch this match, though. I mean, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully.
All right, Matt, I'm going to put my money on this parlay that we're going to build here on the show. We're doing both teams with score, Fulham, Newcastle, and Everton double chance.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hitting it. Plus 116, Bet Rivers. Let's get our money on it. And then I'll roll out all the bets that I'm actually going to do. So.
Yep.
All right, let's hold on. Type this down. Let's get some bets, boys. Let's have ourselves a little weekend here in the Premier League. We'll do it wasn't Forest. Newcastle, Fulham, both teams to score, and Everton, DC plus 116 at BR. All right, throw these up on the screen. right, boys. Let's see what the parlay is. All right, as you already know the parlay, no real suspense with that, but spend money making a video, spend time making a video, use the damn video. All right, boys, this is what I'm rolling with. There's where you can get it. Tottenham to score on both halves, plus 148. Arsenal money line, both teams to score, plus 187. Liverpool team total over 2.5. And then our between the post parlay of the week comes in at plus 116. What are you adding to it from your own side there, Matt?
It's going to be Villa plus 120 for me. Arsenal and Brighton, both teams to score and Arsenal to win. And both teams to score, yes. And West Ham Wolves. Those are my three
I'm
plays.
going to do that under. Shit, I'm on that under. I did bet it. Hold on, I'm on that under too. West Ham, Wolves, under 2.5. Nice 110. You're going to take both teams to score. So we're threading the needle, hopefully, with the 1-1 finish. That's very doable.
It is doable.
Man, I think that's very doable. I don't think that's a stretch. Talk about these sides. Nice, and we're finishing 1 minute, so you get to go watch Liverpool because the game starts in a minute. Oh, that was at Caesars on that under 2.5. Huh?
It's time for Liverpool. Let's go. I'm excited to watch the young guy. I think these matches are fun.
I looked at your lineup. Some of these cats I didn't even know, like a Brady kid or whatever the hell his name was.
That's why it's fun to watch this because these are the rotation pieces and stuff.
Gordon, that was the guy too. Who the hell is Gordon?
I think he's a midfielder. It's pretty good.
Doak has gotten a little bit of run in this competition, so I've seen Doak, but I've never seen Gordon, Bradley, and
Bradley's
Chambers.
a right back.
Yeah. All right, go enjoy the game, Matt. Starts right now. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that, fellas. All right, boys, let's go enjoy some Europa League. Enjoy the Premier League this weekend. Hopefully, Week 17, the Premier League can be profitable to you. We'll catch you guys next week.